Hi guys, Squirrel here. Welcome to the penultimate episode of my Transport Fever 2 series, which I do hope you've been enjoying thoroughly. I'm sure you're already subscribed and you've hit the like button already because that's the kind of cool person you are. But if you haven't, hit subscribe and hit the like button. And don't forget to leave a comment. But in all seriousness, we're coming to the end of this series now. As we come to the end of the year, I thought we'd wind this out. And I intend to, in the last episode, we'll put down the headquarters and I'll leave you a link to the save game so you can go away and fix all of my broken stuff and just have a bit of fun with it, I guess. Since you've watched all this far, why not have the save game and have a play, have a look around yourself. Right, what are we doing in this episode? In this episode, we're going to tackle some passenger things. Before we do that, I just want to show you that I've done a lot of work on Bradford. Bradford was a big city. It was on 6,000 population, I think it was, before I went in there. And it had a terrible bus network and it had no wide roads and it had real traffic issues. It still has some pretty heavy traffic, but trust me, this is nothing compared to what it had. It was completely gridlocked down here. The buses couldn't get out. Total nightmare. So what I've done is, I'll just quickly show you what I've done, is I've created a bus network, expanded this bus depot, what's the word I'm looking for? Bus hub, there's the word. I've expanded this bus hub quite a bit, and I've also introduced trams into the network as well. But more importantly, what I've done is I changed that bridge. That little bridge used to come to just here. It now goes all the way in and kind of drops the buses into the city. That was my intent, and gets it away from the ring road traffic. So we've got a kind of southern circuit which comes into the hub. We've got a western circuit here, this green one, which comes into the hub. And you may notice that the green one does overlap in places with a couple of others, and that's intentional. This is the central hub. This is the big one, which, because it goes through the dense area, I've changed to be trams. So this is the tram circuit here, and carries a lot of traffic back to the bus depot, which then obviously allows passengers to link onto the train station and get connecting flights if they want to. This one here is the northwestern one. This is slightly different to the others in that it doesn't come back to the bus hub. It just sits out there and moves the passengers from the westerly back into the central and southwesterly points. The reason is there's no point having that circuit come all that distance because our hub's on the east. Our western circuit sits out west, and passengers just jump on and off and get the next network. That's perfectly normal. That's more of a realistic design in the real world. That's exactly what you'd do if your bus hub was sat on one side of the city and not in the middle where it needs to be. And then finally, there's the northern one over there. So that's all running nicely. I wanted to get Bradford sorted out, as it were, from a public transport network point of view, because it is a really big city. It's a significant city of ours. What's curious, and you may find this interesting, I got rid of the housing here. And the reason I got rid of the housing that was here is because they were getting battered by emissions. So as much as they're probably, airline fans and stuff, the game treats that as a huge emission problem. And as you can see, this was on minus 100%, which was massive. And so when I deleted these houses here and made them all private roads so they can't build on them, it then went down to 60, which is still bad, but there's not a lot it can do because you can see here that this housing, this residence layer, is built right up, and I can't control it. I can delete it, but I can't control it. I can't make it only commercial or something, which is what I'd like to do. The alternative is to move the airport out, but that's never going to connect to the train station, so we're living with it. But what's curious is this. Our public transport is so darn good that 34,000 destinations are being used now. Massive amount. And if you hover over it, it tells you that gives you a 7,500 residency target, and the private transport 3,700. When you add this all up, it comes down now to 12,000. So Bradford has a target population of 12,000, but it's only on 4.5, and it's not even grown back to the 6. And you can see here where I've been in and upgraded roads, and where there were buildings, they've not grown back yet. So a curious thing is happening in Bradford, and I don't think it'll ever get to 12,000. In fact, the biggest city we have right now is 5,400. I don't know if it's a hard cap on the game or whether the mod is capping, but something is capping the limit. I don't think it's possible to get over 7k by the look of it. I could be wrong, It might well be that it can't grow because of all this train track. I'm not sure. Maybe you guys have some thoughts on that. But at the moment, it definitely won't grow anymore, even though it should. Anyway, on to what we're about to do. So I kind of hinted on this in the last episode. If we have a look here, whoops, we have a click on the wrong thing. If we have a look at Sandhurst train traffic, it's on what, 77, 76, not a huge amount. Sandhurst hasn't been upgraded yet, so its bus network is not great. It really needs to be upgraded. If we have a look at what's going on in Bradford, however, you'll see that Bradford Mablethorpe has 879 passengers, absolutely huge amounts. So a lot of passengers want to get on here and travel to Mablethorpe, or at least on the Mablethorpe line, which is northbound. I'm just letting it autosave. If we highlight that line, you'll see that Bradford Mablethorpe heads this way. It goes all the way up to, or it used to go up to Mablethorpe. If you remember, I truncated it back to Loughton. But a lot of people want to go out of here that way. They don't want to go south to Sandhurst. They want to go north to Romsey, which is curious. And you can tell that because if you zoom in, if we zoom in, this is the yellow track here on that line there. And this line ends here, so all of the people stood here want to go north. Now, when you then follow this line to the next station, I'll zoom out a little bit, there we go. When you follow the line to the next station, you'll see there are two tracks again on the left, and the one on this side is considerably more full than the one on that side, which straight away tells you that people don't want to go north, they want to go south again. And that's kind of shown here by the Bradford. They want to go via Bradford and Avon. In other words, people on this line want to go to Bradford. So what that tells us is a lot of people want to go from Romsey to Bradford. A lot of people want to go from Bradford to Romsey. And because our line goes all the way up to Loughton, it can't serve the demand. So what we're going to do to fix that is put a high capacity shuttle between Romsey and Bradford, and we'll stop that line coming all the way down to Bradford. And then we'll have to adjust the trains that are on this line, because if we actually look at what trains are on this line, there's quite a lot, and the BR103s are quite quick. They should be getting 200k, I think. Lots of capacity here. So we might have to just reassign some trains, or yeah, I think that's what we'll do. We'll reassign the trains. We'll truncate the line. We'll make a short version here, just a shuttle version. Stick some of those trains, or maybe like 4 of them, and then we'll have to adjust that capacity on the other side. Does that make sense? Good. Clear as mud. Right. Let's start off by getting this Bradford to Mablethorpe, because this is no longer correct anyway. This actually goes from Bradford to Loughton, was it? Yeah, Bradford to Loughton. It will actually now go from Romsey to Loughton. That's the plan here. In fact, actually, what we'll do is we'll truncate this line, so all the trains are on this section, and then we'll create a new section here. Because what I don't want to do is disrupt all the people on this line here. So we'll change this one to Bradford to Romsey, like that. And we'll even spell it correctly. How's that? Bradford to Romsey. And then we'll go from Bradford to Romsey. Let's see, Bradford here. Now, the only thing is, in order to shuttle, we have to check if we can actually diamond intersect here. Did we put a diamond in? You see? Forward planning. This is why I always put them in. So we've got that. What we can now do is get rid of Loughton entirely. It will give us an error. Then we can get rid of Romsey House like that, and then it becomes a shuttle. Now, those trains that are up here should now come down here, but some of them, like this one, will now get really confused because they don't know how to turn around and go back to here, which, you know, fair play. There's no way they would know how to do that. And there should be, anything that's southbound will be okay, but the northbound ones are going to be a little bit stuck. So we'll have to use those for our next leg. So now what we'll do is copy that, and we'll have Romsey to Loughton packs like that. Romsey to Loughton. We'll give that a dark green color, and we will go from here Is there anything in between? No, straight to Loughton. So Loughton, it's going to become a shuttle, basically. There we go. Like that. And then what we'll do is we'll take this train here and we'll reassign onto that line there. That should then hopefully get him moving. And there's probably another one or two that's in the same boat. Same thing. And finally... Oh, not sure why you're stuck. Interesting. Okay. Bradford to Romsey packs. So this did come all the way to Mailbox. I thought we'd stopped all that. I've got a feeling that's been sat there a while. Let's get rid of that. Okay, let's get rid of the errors. Right, let's take stock of the situation now. So, on this, we now have Bradford to Romsey. We've now got 5 of them. That is possibly too much. It's going to be hard to tell. We're going to have to let it sort of play out now and see what happens. But having 5 of them just shuttling between there is quite a lot. It is quite a big run. And they should be getting up to a decent speed. 137. And as for this line up here, this one, there's no way this is going to cope with just 2 of them, I don't think. But then there's not that much demand there anyway. So I think what we'll do is we'll let those run for a bit and we'll come back and check it a bit later on. There we go, just make them green so we don't get too confused by them. But hopefully we'll start to see a reduction in this number shortly, because all the packs should be able to get on plenty of trains. Why are you sat there? You're waiting for that one. And this is where it becomes a balance between, do we put more cars on this train or more trains on the line? And this one's already waiting, but we'll have to let it pad out and see how it gets on. Okay, right. So that's one of the problems that I wanted to fix. There is another one. Let's see how quick he's managing to get to. 188. He's almost getting to 200 before he gets here. Right, there was a similar issue which existed over here, if I remember. Up, down in, is it Henley? There you go. So Henley, similar problem here. Hyde to Henley. If I just manage that line a second, you can see that this is a huge line. It goes through Ludgershall, through Twickenham, through the airport, through to Hyde. And we have an asymmetric demand. And by that I mean it's not balanced along the line. There's a lot of people want to go north here, right? So that's one problem. Not enough trains are coming in. That's the first issue. Second issue exists then at Ludgershall, and this is where most people want to go to Twickenham. Yeah, they don't want to come back to Henley. So a lot of people are trying to get out of Henley and come to Twickenham, or at least on the northbound side of it. They may not be stopping here. They might be carried on all the way through Ludgershall and all the way up to Twickenham. So we have to consider, how do we want to get them along this stretch of line? And if you go to Twickenham itself, most of these want to go back to Ludgershall. So it feels like there's a lot of capacity needed between here. And on this stretch, we have a lot of capacity north and about half of it coming back. But this is the critical one, Twickenham to Ludgershall. So if we can put a high capacity shuttle here, and then for the rest of it, see, they want to go to Twickenham as well, so they want to come to here. So we're going to have a shuttle. Not much there. A lot of people want to go there. Even more people want to go here. So how do we want to do this? Well, we could have, because that is quite a long run though. We could have, sorry, this one here. This is quite a long run. We could have Ludgershall to Henley just on a shuttle like that. And then we could have Ludgershall to the airport in Twickenham on another shuttle, which has more trains on it. And then just a light service here. Or you could even just bus people over there, you know, because they're not really far away. And there's not a massive demand anyway. So why not just have a shuttle bus from here to here, which is probably what we'll end up doing, to be fair. Because that makes sense. It's not worth running a shuttle train though. So we could start off by putting the bus network down, then we can truncate the end of that, and then we can apply a new line here, drop some trains on it, and then with what's left we'll be running from here to here, which is pretty much what we need. And then we'll have to assess the speed and capacity, because as you've seen on the other network, a train takes a long time to get up to 200k. There's no way it would get from here to here and ever reach 200k. it won't even get it from here to here. It's just not going to happen. So our trains along here need to be high capacity trains that are used to kind of stop start type thing. Speed isn't really the issue for these. It's all about capacity and frequency. We want trains that can unload quickly, load quickly, and take a lot of people, yeah? Because they're never going to reach high speeds. That's why we have different trains, because we have different demands and different needs. We'll pause it a second. We'll put down a PAX station just down here. And then we'll unpause it again. And then we just need let's see. Just need a road coming past here, which connects to it. Like that. And then what we'll do is we'll get rid of this so we can come in this way. And then we'll just link those two like that. Simple as. And then in terms of the building, we'll just have a bus station which has... We'll put two in there just in case, but it's going to be a simple thing. Like that. Make it a bit bigger. Get rid of that. Put that in. Put that in. We're probably only going to use one of them, but we'll put two in anyway. Right, so what's going on down here? We should have, yes we do, we have capacity because this has not been upgraded properly yet anyway. And then what we'll do is we'll have, what should we call this? We'll call this Hyde Airport Shuttle, because it basically takes people to the airport. So let's call it that, Hyde Airport Shuttle. We'll give it a nice orangey colour, and we'll go from here to here. The other thing I didn't check was they're actually connected. Now, they are connected, but they're not connected. It's connected to the train station, but it's not connected to the airport. Like that one is. Yeah, that one's connected to the airport. This one is not. And that's because it's down to the old footpaths not connecting through again. It's that old chestnut. It is possible that we can cheek this a little bit. If we can put that down there, then just maybe that will shorten the distance. No, it's still not good enough. You can see the whiteness comes up to here, but it doesn't make it across there. It's a real pain like that. Let's try. So there's no footpath connections to the... You see how it's not connecting any footpaths to the airport? It's wherever it's taking footpaths from. You can see them all along here. But if it's coming through there, it may be that we put the bus station here, it might connect through, maybe. But it's pure guesswork. And honestly, this part of the game does frustrate me a little bit, I'll be honest. Because it is just guesswork as to where you should put things. Let's see. So you can see, when you do that, you can see all the footpath connections. Will they transit through the train station? I don't know if they will. What we'll do is we'll just get rid of this for now. That. And we'll try putting one of these down. Okay, so you can see, let's get rid of that. When I do this, you can see that the footpath connection does not quite, it just about transits there. It stops there, but if I put it here, you see that? And it's all to do with those little invisible footpaths that it keeps highlighting now and again. Pay particular attention to that one on the road, you see it? Right in the middle of that big road. You see it just highlights when we're here, but when we're there, it's too far away. So as long as we put this here, it'll work. And that's the kind of randomness that you have to deal with. Right, passengers, make that a bit bigger. that. That in, that in. And then just turn that back. Get rid of the traffic lights and then adjust this. There you go, it's picked it up. Cool. Done. Right, where's the depot? Nearest depot is a million miles away up here, so I think what we'll do is we'll have another little road depot down here. There's not going to be any people down here, so we just want a reasonable capacity, something like a streetcar. Like 4 of those should do it. Do that. Now, that won't get any people on it because... Well, because of this, basically. This is going to take all the people... all the ones that stop here anyway. So, does that one stop? Does that one stop? Actually, it looks like neither of them do stop. I thought they did stop. I thought we had trains that were stopping here, guys. Honestly. Must be... Oh, it's this one. This one does. I see. This one does. This is a goods line, so this is the one we want to remove. So we'll need a diamond here. I'm hoping I've already put one down, but it looks like I didn't. So we just need to put that in quickly. Let's get the track. One here, one here. Just move that one down a little bit. Okay, just because we want the train to turn around here from now on. Is there a train down there? Yes, there is. Yeah, we'll just wait for him to leave. So what we're going to do is we're going to stop this train from going this far now and just have it truncate here, because these buses are going to take over any packs that want to go down there. That's the current plan. This and many other cities in the map have not been upgraded for proper bus networks, so as part of the save game I'm going to leave that for you guys if you want to play around with it. I've done a number of cities, Bradford being the most recent one, but each one takes, you know, sort of 40 minutes or something to sort out all the road network, the bus stops, the lines, apportion the buses, put them on maintenance plan. You know, it's a lot of work. So you're looking at probably 40 minutes at least for each city. And I've done a few of them, but I'm not going to do all of them. So there's plenty of stuff to tidy up if you want to go ahead and do that when I give you the save game in the next episode. That train is on its way out. That one is just on its way in. I'm just going to stop that for a second. You just stay there, my friend. And then as soon as he gets in, we'll change this line. If I do it now, he'll just be like, I don't know what to do. So we'll just wait for him to come in. These are quite old trains. I think we're probably going to replace them with... They've only got 66 capacity, and that section of track will need to be much higher capacity. Okay, so now we just need to delete Hyde East. Well, this is Hyde East, so we need to get rid of Hyde. That, and then Hyde East like that. So now it comes into just one place, and of course, he's all confused. If we do that with him, we might just carry on. And if we turn him back on, there you go. Right, that's that done. So that now stops there. Next thing to do is this section to make a Henley to Ludgershall dedicated line. So we'll do that now. So at the moment we have this. That doesn't go to Hyde anymore. That goes to Twickenham. Well, it actually goes to Hyde East. Hyde East. And it's actually going to go to Ludgershall. Once it's finally adjusted, but for now we'll do this and we'll have Hyde to Ludgershall. Actually, it's Henley to Ludgershall. Henley to Ludgershall, there we go. Right, so this particular line is going to go from here to here. I'm just going to double check that it can do that. Yes, it can, because we have the diamond. Okay, that's fine. So what we need to do now is move some of the trains over. Just having a look for where they all are. So if we say to him, you are now on that line, my friend. He'll just run that shuttle service. I'm just looking for anybody else along here. There's another one. So you can do that. And then we'll take this line here, which is the purple one coming through, which is that one, and we'll get rid of Henley on Thames, like that. And get rid of one of these. Boom. Okay. So we've now separated those two, and we've got 2 trains on this line, and the rest are now on this line. Let's just double check what we have. So this goes from Ludgershall West to Twickenham South, then it goes to Hyde East, then it comes back to Twickenham South, and then it carries on. It's exactly what we want. In terms of vehicles, like I say, we don't care about top speed anymore. We want capacity. So we might want to consider looking at some of these EMUs, although we will have to make this window a bit wider. Like so. So what do these carry? 121. The main advantage these have is the loading speed. Look at that loading speed. They're ideal for this kind of thing. The twin decks can hold... The big twin decks can hold quite a lot, can't they? 20 times loading speed, a capacity of 120. It's huge, huge capacity. So I think we basically go with one of those for 116 million. Stick those in there. We've got 4 of them. That should be very, very good capacity. Let's see what happens when they get in. It's 579. This thing can take 120 at a go, so... They do make a lovely sound as well. Listen to that. Really nice. Now, is 4 going to be enough? That's the question. I would estimate probably not. I think we probably need 5 or 6 on this line to make it work properly. Hopefully they'll stop running at a loss, but I'm tempted to leave them, just let them settle down for a minute and see how we get on. I don't want to overcook it. Now this does require reasonable speed, so we don't want to replace those on this track. 123 cars, is that going to be enough? Let's see, each car holds... There's a total train of 66. I'm tempted to reconfigure this slightly and put more... What's on there now? Let's see, 4, isn't it? So if we add another one onto that, make sure it's green. So that's got 4 cars on it. So what we've done now is increase the capacity of this, but it should still be able to get up to its full speed along that longer stretch, and that should give them a better service. But the thing to do is to click on this when it settles down. Click on this and see what the line frequency is, and see what the demand is there as well. That's the thing to do. And then finally, we should hopefully have passengers on the buses. Yes, we do. So they're taken over from that. 26 or 26. If we need more people on this, we'll have to replace it with a tram service. But at the moment, what we could just do is add some more buses. I think that should be fine. I don't see the demand getting insane. Now that's a lot of packs, isn't it? And there's a train coming in. I've got a feeling that's going to require 6 of those. Cool. We'll let that run for a bit and then come back and tweak it and see. We'll go have a look at Bradford now, see what it's up to. All right, so we are down at Bradford again, and we see our alarm frequency is 80 seconds, which is pretty good. That's not bad at all. However, we're just not moving the people. We just do not have the numbers. We still have tons of people wanting to take this train. So we're going to have to get, that's 132 capacity on that. And that's got is that 6 cars on it? Yeah, 6 cars. Let's have a look at this. Manage vehicles. Let's see if we can do something. We can put more cars on it, but I'm just wondering. At the moment, we're using the BR103, which is this guy. He's a pretty good locomotive. 200 k's, huge amount of power. Let's bring this window in a bit. 7,500 kilowatts, 300 kilonewtons tractive. Pretty good. The next one up from that is this, but that's freight. So the next one up from that is actually this one, but it doesn't do 200k. This is the only one that goes quick. This one here. So we're kind of in the fast end of the locomotives anyway. The electric MPUs, it's not worth playing with any of this stuff yet. Not on this line. These will only do 160 as well. So really the answer lies in either more trains and or sort of fewer cars to make them go quicker, because it depends on the performance. That's the issue. It depends on the performance. I think we stick another train on there for now. That's what we do. That was on Mitchell Dean. That was the wrong one. Just stuck it on the wrong line. 1 second. One's on this one. Let's try just sticking more trains on it. That should hopefully get the throughput. But you can see the huge queues building up here. Bradford is such a killer city. This is getting very, very congested. The sheer volume of buses coming in and out, that's the problem. If you get too many, they start to create a feedback loop. So the ones coming in through here are stopping these guys from leaving. So they can't get out, which backs up, and then it just leads to a mess. We may have to move that slightly, just so I can get more input roads on it. It's stopping these buses from getting away. The annoying thing is, you can't create more than one tram line. You know what I mean? You can't have 2 tram lines and let them come out of here and bypass this whole thing. The only way you could do it, I guess, is you could have a one-way road that goes around it like that. So what you could do is, I guess, and I am just thinking off the top of my head here, but you basically say, right, one electric, and you come off the end, down there like that, and then kind of back in again. This building's actually stopping us from doing it. Get rid of that. Basically you do that and then stick a waypoint on it, and then what you can say is, well, anything that comes out of here, let's see that one for example, so it comes out of Bradford Annex and on its way out it goes via that, yeah, so it cuts over here, doesn't get in the way of any traffic, and then disappears that way, which is a solution to the problem. Kind of interesting, huh? Obviously the blue ones you'd have to leave, the green ones would have to go that way as well. Including those. So they all go that way, and then you've just got the blues, and then maybe the purples, I think, the central. There you go. So they kind of don't get in the way of each other on the way in, was the thinking there. Don't know, never done that before. It's kind of interesting design. Anyway, so what's going on the south side of Bradford? We've got this line here, which now goes down to Sandhurst, which is the Sandhurst Bradford Pax. That's got a 92-second frequency on it. It's got a fairly meh train, but, you know, the demand's not huge. It's keeping up with it, and it's making a profit. So I'd say just leave that one as it is. That seems to be working fine. And then we've got the onward line, so Bradford to Romsey, and then Romsey going up to Loughton, which is this line here, isn't it? So many lines now, crikey. That one. That's a 3-minute frequency at the moment, so it's not a great service. It is, however, making a little bit of a profit. There's a huge demand, so we're going to have to do something about that. There's a huge demand at Loughton anyway. What's the demand at Romsey like? Not as big, but still not insignificant. So I think the way to solve this is that 103, yeah. The way to solve this one is to have at least one, possibly 2 trains on it. And that should take care of that problem. But yeah, it is a constant adjustment. When I redid Bradford's bus network, where's Bradford gone? When I redid Bradford's bus network, I noticed that all the drop-offs for this, like fuel, I think it is. Is it fuel? Yeah, Bradford fuel. Like this station here, this drop here was over here. It was in completely the wrong place. This just happens as the city expands. The drop points move. And your truck stop doesn't move with it. You have to constantly readjust it. And when you've got all of these cities to deal with, you know, it can get a little bit. It's just too much, really. I guess it's too much management. But that's the game. What you can do when you create your map is choose fewer cities. If you don't want to manage so many cities, you can do that. Just have fewer cities on your map. Arguably, these are too close to each other. Given that the mod expands the city a lot, arguably these are too close. And therefore, the solution is to have fewer cities when you generate it. So that's something to look at when you're generating your own, is if you're using this mod, which expands quite big cities, then maybe don't have as many cities in there. Okay, this is starting to settle down. Henley to Ludgershall, that's that run there. They've got a frequency of 3 minutes. I think they will probably serve better with another 1 or 2 trains on there. Try and get a good frequency on that. 4 fast trains with 4 cars, we should do it. This is all about the capacity. So they've got 120, so that's completely full. That's loading up. Yeah, it's getting there. That's definitely a better model. So yeah, I mean, this is just something that happens, isn't it? You've got a bunch of cities, you connect them together with a train. Some of them will grow at different rates, and therefore more people will want to go to certain cities than others, and then you just have to adapt your train network. But it's looking good. I'm quite happy where it's going. In terms of the last thing that we did, cargo-wise, I actually tweaked a bit of this here. So I made this bit down here, if you remember, where our goods and plastics being done. I had to have 2 lines for this because there was just simply too much to move by one line of trucks. There's too much coming out of here that needs moving from the port over to here and then onwards. I also added more trains onto this run here, the Ludgershall Planked Machines run, so that it can keep up with demand. If that sends it to here, if you remember, this I had to upgrade as well, because again the capacity here was too much. But now this is completely tapped out. If you remember, I think the last episode it was on level 1, about to become level 2. It's completely smashed it now. It's maxed out. This one is growing rapidly, but, well, as you can see, can't really get the planks, and the demand isn't quite there yet. So, you know, we could start making more planks from somewhere, but it's going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky. This is where you started to really scratch around. Like, that one's got a bit of capacity left, but not a lot. And there aren't that many sawmills on the map. So you've got to start looking around and pulling logs from all over the place, it starts to get really tricky in the late game, which is where we are now. But, you know, that's pretty much what I wanted to polish off. I did actually get the achievement for all goods delivered to all cities on Steam, so that's something to watch out for, because we have delivered everything to everything now. Every city's getting what it needs in variable amounts. This is the penultimate episode. The last one will be, the next episode will be the final episode, guys. Well, I'm winding this out by the end of the year. Well, in recording terms anyway. But, yeah, it's been an absolute blast doing this. Next episode, we'll just finish things up, and then I'll make the save available for you guys, and that will be that. But if you enjoyed this episode, please give me a thumbs up. And until the next and final episode, I shall take it easy, guys, and happy constructing.